Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 Kia K4 in the GT line trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 235/40 Kumho tires wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Morning Haze, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't really tell you what kind of color it is, but you can kind of be the judge for yourself. Thankfully, the sun is shining right now, and I guess a greenish gray type, I guess. I don't know, but it looks good. So a lot of gloss black. Other than the main color, we have a lot of gloss black, especially here in the front. The entire grille is blacked out, and then there is a actual gray down here. So that's gray, and then the rest of it's gloss black. There's parking sensors across the front here, so you can see them integrated nicely. Then there's the camera integrated in the very center, looking cool. The radar adaptive cruise control is there in the center, right there. It has a pretty interesting lighting setup. I have a night video on this vehicle if you want to check it out. It's a LED projector, and then the high beams have like a super multi-projector system as well, and it has like a fog light that's integrated in there as well. But it's all LED here in the front, and the turn signals look good as well. So yeah, a lot of positives here on the lighting of the vehicle. Some drawbacks, as you'll see in the night video. Looking at the profile, you can see that gloss black extends here on the wheel wells here, all the way on the base of the vehicle as well, all the way around to the back. Also, you can see where the glass has the pillars that are gloss black, and it kind of extends there on the top as well as the top of the side mirror. And then the base of the glass has like a chrome strip. Looking kind of cool, give it a sporty look. This is what the key looks like, and it's pretty interesting. Kia's used this key for a little while now, and it has a little light that turns on when you press a button. Right now the vehicle's on, so it's not going to illuminate. Oh yeah, there it goes. You can see it a little bit. Sun's kind of drowning it out. And it has the ability to lock and unlock, open up the trunk, remote start as well. But basically it's designed to just keep in your pocket. Now it doesn't have a physical key on the inside. It's a separate key that comes with it. That's the physical key. It's a little bit on the large size, but the side right here is kind of rubberized, so it feels good, looks good. But it's designed where you just have it in your pocket. You don't actually have to have the key out, and you can use the vehicle 100%. There's a little dimple right here. It's where how you lock the door, and then you put your hand behind the handle to unlock it. And then behind this cover is a physical key location. You just slide that off, and there's a physical key there. The inside of the door, this has like a vinyl type material, soft touch here around the arm. And then this is kind of like a different soft touch material here at the top. The rest of the door is a hard touch surface, mostly black, a little bit of accents there. This is enclosed, so you can utilize that as a pocket, and then you have the larger pocket there at the bottom. So there's no fancy seal plates or anything in the threshold. Now it has leatherette seating surfaces, so it's not a genuine leather, but it is feels really good and comfortable. And it's cloth here on the side where it meets up with the hard plastic. It's a manually adjusted seat, but it does have a height adjustment. Now these seats are heated and cooled, and you can see the controls here on the door, so it's easy to get to. So it has stitching in two different colors there. Looking good, feeling good. It has a little bit of a bolster there. But not too intrusive. I don't really have a problem with these bolsters. They don't feel like overly squeezing me or anything, or digging into my back. So there's legroom, fairly decent amount of legroom. It's especially when you have the seat all the way back. Now, of course, it depends on your back, the people in the back seat or whatever. But there's a non-locking glove compartment. It's hard plastic here, and it's smooth plastic on the inside. Then we have like a gray gloss piece there with a chrome strip, a little bit of a accent there. It has the ambient lights, so I don't know if you can see that blue light. You can see it in my night video. The dash is a kind of rubbery soft, non-reflective dash. It does have the sunroof as well. The handle here in the back door is kind of integrated into the pillar, and the opening is good. So you can see the opening there in the front is bigger, and the swing of the door is nice. The swing of the door could be a little bit better, I suppose, back here, but as it is, it's not too bad. And the back door, we have the hard touch up here instead of the soft, but all this is soft. The rest of it is a hard touch. A little bit smaller door, a little bit less going on. The back seat is basically a bench seat, and it has an armrest with cup holders, so we can move that out of the way if we want. But it is nice and soft. Then there's car seat attachments on the outer seats there. So there's two back here. On the back of the passenger seat is a net pocket, hard plastic here. Little storage cubby and USB ports there. A little bit of a hump in the middle as well. Looking at the back of the vehicle, it has the shark fin antenna that's body colored right there in the center. Third brake light is at the base of the glass. And you also have some gloss black around the glass, kind of emphasizing the length and adding to it. The taillights have an interesting design. They kind of extend around to the trunk and out to the outer portion of the vehicle. They have an interesting, kind of like a tail light and a accent light all together. Parking sensors back here as well. And the backup camera is integrated perfectly in the middle in a high position. Really good. The trunk release is here. The exhaust is fairly well hidden. Has these little kind of like diffuser look back here. So it's really easy to open a trunk. Buttons right there. You don't have to like reach underneath and try to find it. And lift it up here. There's some carpet there. And the trunk is fairly decent size. Mostly carpeted. Now it does have some exposed metal under here. Speaker. Really poor light in this vehicle. You can see my night video if you want to check that out. There's also under here a spare tire and tools and a little bit extra space as well. You can fold the seats down. It's a 60-40 split. There's a split right there. So you can add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, really. And how you fold them is you pull these. So you release it, and then you release it. Fold the seats down. So there's one. So we can still maintain some passenger space on the other side. The other one. Now the front seat is in the way, so I have to move this front seat forward a little bit. There we go. So that is the, when you fold the seats down, they come down. They don't really like line up perfectly with the cargo area, but in certain scenarios, this could help out a lot with picking up stuff. Now there is a locking fuel door. You can also release the trunk here. And the fuel door is here on the driver's side. It has a traditional cap, little tether there, and a place to hang the cap there on the inside of the door. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice it has these sporty pedals, looking pretty good. Even the footrest is kind of sporty looking. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center. Just reach in, move it to the left, or lift up on it, and then you can see there's a latch there. The hood is kind of heavy. It does require a prop to hold it up. Here's the prop here, and it swings up and goes right where that arrow's pointing. The engine compartment is mostly sealed up. You can see a seal all around the hood there. There's also insulation under the hood. And it's fairly quiet. It keeps most of the engine noise out of your ears, basically, unless you really rev it. But yeah, you can see a lot here. There's not like a huge plastic cover that covers up the engine or anything. Actually, it has a little tiny plastic cover, but the rest of it's open. So actually I get to see something besides just a plastic wall, like some vehicles. So you can see the suspension towers are braced in to the structure of the vehicle there. And the battery is insulated. The firewall is insulated. And the battery is easy to get to as well. Now the GT line has a turbocharged engine. It's a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it puts out 190 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs. That's a lot of RPMs to get to the maximum horsepower. but the maximum torque is 195 foot-pounds of torque, but it only comes in at 1700 RPM. So that low RPM range, you get that torque right at that range. So the lower RPMs is where you get the acceleration. Now this is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The inside of the driver's side doors looks just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Now it has the blind spot detection system, and the indicator is on the side mirror. There's a little triangle that illuminates when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. Now it has the heated and cooled seats here on this side, just like the other side, except for this side has the 2 presets for the power seat on this side. The front 2 windows are one touch up and down power windows, non-laminated glass. Door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted there as well. Power seat here for the driver, and now it does have the 2-way lumbar adjustments here. Just a standard power seat, up, down, tilt, all that stuff. And yeah, these are decent seats. Kind of sporty looking, but not overly intrusive as far as the bolsters. So here to the left of the steering column, there's the dimmer switch for the interior gauges. Electronic parking brake. You pull it to engage it, and it will engage the rear wheels. And if you start driving, you get in the vehicle and start driving, it'll automatically disengage if you accidentally leave it on. Not that I know about anything like that. Traction control off button is here. Default is on, but if you need to spin tires, you can turn it off. And then there is the tilt and telescoping steering column. You lock it in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back. And it has, to show you the potential legroom here, and it's too far back for me to drive, really. So plenty of room. Now it does diminish the back seat legroom a lot, but at least you know you have, if you're over 6 feet tall, should have no problem with driving this vehicle. I mean, there's plenty of room here. Steering wheel is really nice. It has like a little bit of a non-traditional round shape, so it's not round, it's kind of like more oblong and flat bottom here. But yeah, it feels interesting, feels good, comfortable, has a little bit of a give. It's not overly hard or anything, but yeah, it's just this, I don't know, it's just something you got to get used to. Once you're holding the steering wheel, it feels fine, but when you first touch it, it's like, oh, this is a little bit different, you know. It has that two-tone as well. Has that different color there. Your drive modes are down here. Cruise controls here on the left side, so you can turn it on, set it, go change the speeds, push in to resume and cancel. And then you have the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and then the lane keep assist system, which works really well. Paddle shifters here on the back. You also have this little pages button. Is okay. We'll get to that in a minute. That corresponds with the gauge cluster. Here on the right side is the volume for the radio. Change to the tracks. Audio sources here. Voice recognition. A single button for the phone. I wish I had two. And then you have a star there, which you can customize that button. Customizable button. Windshield wiper controls are here on the right side. Pretty straightforward. Turn signal, of course, is on the left side. You also have your headlight switch off, automatic, parking, and headlights on. And then you have your fog lights toggled on and off here. Now I have a night video which I demonstrate all this stuff if you want to check it out. So here is the gauge cluster, which is basically, I gotta pull the seat up, a little bit of a glare on camera, but it's not, to my eyes I can see it fine. But right now I have the dial view, and it has like a traditional look, but it's a customizable screen. And so you can see it has like, it simulates a needle and the gauge and all that stuff. Fuel gauge is there, and then your engine coolant temperature is here. And then your, this has the Highway Driving Assist 2 system, in which you can get information here, like it shows you and other vehicles around you as you're on the highway. And it's more advanced on certain highways, but it's a pretty cool feature. You can use this little pages button right here in the OK and up and down scroll wheel to change the information. Besides that little car, you can change it to trips, compass, and then back to the car. Now when you're in the trip, you can scroll up and down and get more information there. And then you go back to the car. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward there. Now there's different views here. So right now, see, I have it in circle, and then it has simple. So there's the circle, and then let's go to simple. So you can see what it looks like. Gives you the digital speedometer and just, you know, numbers instead of a dial or needle. And under circle you have style A, which is this one, style B, and then you have style C. I had it originally in style C. You can also link these to the drive mode as well. So this would be normal mode, that would be eco mode, and this would be sport mode. And then you can have the simple in style A, style B, and style C. So yeah, slight amount of customization there for the gauge cluster. Now between the gauge cluster and this screen, the touch screen, you have this little screen, and that's for the climate control. Now you do have some redundant buttons down here for climate control, but if you need to get more advanced with it, you can hit this little plus button, and it expands it out to this whole screen. And you can see it has like these little visualizations. You have fan speed, temperature, where you want the air to blow. You can sync them as well. Also has a little navigation map still there. And of course we have the fan speed, temperature, where you want the air to blow down here as well as physical buttons. But if you want to move this back, you hit the X, so it crosses it out. Now we're back to the home screen here. And once again, we have physical buttons here to kind of like enhance your experience with the touchscreen. So this is the home screen. You can swipe through, get different categories here. So the first one, we have the navigation, and we can just tap whichever one we want, pull that up. We have the different views here. Fairly responsive once it loads up. The next one will be your media or your radio right here. So you can select that and choose what you want, radio, media, or they also have sounds of nature. It's kind of cool, kind of ambient sound. Your phone, once you pair your phone, you have access to that. Phone projection will be Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can also make voice memos. So you're driving along, you have an idea, brilliant idea, it's gonna make $1 million. All you have to do is hit this to record. Subscribe to Mike's Car Info on YouTube. Alright, so now we have a voice memo. And we can always refer back to that. Weather, get weather, sports, has different cool features here. Sports, valet mode, you have the setup. You also have vehicle diagnostics and an online manual. Unfortunately, it's just a QR code. It's not like on the screen or anything. You can pull down from the top and get some more quick settings here. You can hit that and then go to your profile settings as well. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Works pretty good. We saw all those redundant buttons, and then we also have the four-way flashers here. There's a wireless charger, and right above it is USB-C ports. Now this one can be just a charger, which I have now, or you can press this button. It can be a charger and linking with the system. So we can have charger or charge and linking with the system. Because sometimes I've experienced vehicles where I plug in my phone to charge, and it just automatically starts installing all this like Android Auto and all this stuff, and I just want to charge my phone. I don't want to have all this, you know, connectivity stuff, right? So this has the ability to just turn that off and just go straight to charge. This is only charge already. A little status light for the wireless charger there. 12-volt power supply is here. Just press that, open it up. And yeah, that charger works pretty good, even with my cell phone in its case and everything, and it's rubberized so things don't slide around too much. There's the start button. Here's the shifter. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse, because this camera system is great. Not only is it gives you the different views there, but also the clarity is really good. The clarity, the resolution, the colors, all that stuff works well. So as I move the vehicle, you can see right where you are, and very precisely compared to other things, curbs or whatever, lines in the parking lot. And you have different views here. So this is behind the vehicle, and you can see the top down there. We have this top down view in the back. We had just the back wheels, so we could see where we are in relationship to curves and stuff. Or if we want a super wide back view, we can have that. So yeah, different views there. We can also kind of like have a view of the vehicle, or a simulated view of the vehicle, and then look around where we are, you know. It's kind of interesting because as I turn the steering wheel, you can see the wheel on this car moves precisely with what I'm turning, so it's kind of neat. I am touching the brakes, but the brake lights aren't on. And also there's a different color. It's kind of neat. So let's go ahead and put it in drive. So when you have it in drive, you basically have the same kind of functionality. The top-down view, so you have these different views that you can always refer back to if you need to. Now if you press this button, you can, without putting it in drive or reverse, you can press this button to pop up the camera system at any time the way you want it. So here's the front view. You can see the different front views here. And then there's the different back views we could choose. And then we, of course, go back to the little 3D car thing going on. But yeah, that's probably the most useful view right there for most scenarios, the back view. But being able to see the front view is nice as well. But yeah, I really like the camera system. And also, it works with the parking sensors, in which it will have like little lines around the vehicle showing you where things are. So if you get too close to something, it senses it with the parking sensor. It gives you a visual on the screen to show you where to look out for. It's really good. For a vehicle this price, it's actually amazing. So yeah, the shifter is pretty straightforward, neutral and drive, and then it has a manual, like a little ratchet shifter feature that you can shift through the gears in addition to the paddle shifters. It does have an auto hold function, and then this is the parking sensors. If they're kind of beeping at you and you don't want them beeping, you can turn it off if you need to. Cup holders are here, and they have these little kind of like spring-loaded little things. You can push them in so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you don't need to use it for cups, you can just kind of like use this space here, maybe a big cup or something. But if you have a more normal cup, you press that and this pops out, and then you have a place to put it. You have a second cup, you press this and that pops out, and you have another place to put it. So yeah, it's kind of neat. This armrest is not soft. It's like a little rubbery, but it's not like a cushy soft pillow or anything like that. And this does lift up. And then you have a storage compartment here, nothing special. Has like a felt lining at the bottom. I would replace that with a lighter color so you can see in there a little bit better. It's not super deep, but it's functional. Here's a rear view mirror, has a manual day and night mode. You have like little tap lights up here. And you can turn on all the intro lights with that button. You can have the lights turn on when you open the door, or you can turn that feature off here. It's the off button. Now it does have the roadside assistance as well. This is for the sunroof. We'll get to that in a minute. And then the visor has like a vinyl wrap material. Has a little clip here. Now it's different from the headliner, which is a black cloth. But there's a vinyl wrap. It has a light that you can turn on. A mirror you can look in. And if you accidentally leave the light on, when you lift this up, it'll hit the little button and turn it off for you. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now it does slide out as well. So if you need to have extra coverage there on the side, you can have it. Works okay. Basically the same thing on the other side. Okay, so this sunroof has a single button right here. And let's go ahead and open it up. Press it again. All right, that's as far back as it goes. Now we can tilt it up by pressing up on it. There we go. Now if we push forward, then it closes the shade. It's power shade, covers 100% of the light. So looking at the visibility, it's fine. Even that back pillar has a little window in it, so it's not bad at all. I mean, even if you have a problem with visibility, you got the camera system, the parking sensors, blind spot detection system. And also, here's the secret surprise regarding the visibility. When you put the turn signal on, it has a blind spot camera. Blind spot camera. So you have the blind spot detection system, you have the parking sensors, you have the rear cross traffic alert, but the addition of these blind spot cameras is so cool. So You have this camera over here, you got these cameras over here, and it's basically using the same cameras you'd find in other vehicles. They're just using it in a clever way, having that blind spot camera system. Really cool, love it. My first impression when I started driving this vehicle was that it is just feature rich for a vehicle of this price range. It has a lot of the features like this blind spot camera system that turns on when you turn the turn signal, blind spot detection system. It has the full surround system, camera system, and it's really high quality camera. You know, there's a lot of vehicles that have camera systems that are, you know, technically surround view cameras, but they're just so low quality compared to this one. It has the full, basically a full screen for from the dash, on the dash here, from the gauge cluster all the way over to the infotainment. And then it has a little section there for the climate control, which you can expand and contract the way you want it. Physical buttons, of course, to help you, you know, make quick selections. And steering wheel controls, paddle shifters, everything is pretty well done. Kia and Hyundai, they do a good job of basically having a feature and then it works, right? So like if it has the feature, then it works good. So the lane keep assist system, the adaptive cruise control, the different drive modes tend to work fairly well. And so this one's, you know, just like those. It handles the features well, and it's enjoyable to drive, especially if you're familiar with Hyundai and Kia products already. You see a lot of overlap in real expensive vehicles that they have. They just like put all the features in here. A lot of the features are already in here, you know. So so it's almost like you're driving a more expensive vehicle in a way, because it's just so familiar, you know. It does have some physical buttons here, and I think that kind of helps out with certain people with navigating, you know, quickly going to certain places. I don't really care for the scroll wheel for the volume necessarily. Especially here on the steering wheel, they don't have much grip to them, and if you press in on it, then it mutes the radio. So you have to press in on it to get enough grip. And then it accidentally mutes the radio basically. So if it had a little bit better grip, maybe a rubber surface or something like that, these little scroll wheels could be a little bit better. But you know, navigating through the system, you have the buttons here, and everything's at hand. But you don't really have to mess with it, really. The cup holder's in a nice spot right next to my armrest, so I can grab my cup, you know. And then you have the wireless charger there. That's, you know, you can see it. You can not forget your phone, basically, and it doesn't like hide your phone somewhere to make you forget it. So it's in a good spot. Overall, the roominess is okay. I mean, it's a car, you know, it's not an SUV, so it has that more lower stance. But as far as the overall legroom and everything, it's fine. It's fairly quiet. Most of the noise, like this trash truck is next to me, most of the noise is kept out. And the blind spot detection system lets me know both on this screen and on the side mirror if there's a vehicle there. Also, when you put the turn signal on, you have the actual camera looking in your blind spot, so you have another level of certainty before you change lanes, basically. But yeah, the ride quality and the noise level is all good. Now this is a fairly smooth road right now, but I've been driving on all kinds of different roads today, and I hadn't had any problem with you know, overly stiff suspension or anything like that. It just feels good, nice and smooth. And once again, the noise level is good. It doesn't have any kind of the road noise, the wind noise, and exterior noises. And also the engine isn't overly whiny or anything. You have a little bit of noise coming through, kind of push it a little bit more than normal, just so you can hear it. But once it gets down to the level, you know, like a normal consistent speed, when it's not revving like that, then you don't really hear it, you know. So yeah, the acceleration is fine for just about any scenario. Merging, passing, highways, kind of zipping around town like this, more slow speeds, is yeah, it's enjoyable. If you can tell, this little screen down here has visualizations, basically, where it shows little shadows of other vehicles around you, It also shows you when there's a vehicle in your blind spot, and you set the cruise control. It shows the lines there, whether you have the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and the status of the lane keep assist system, that kind of stuff. I'm putting it in sport mode and just do a little acceleration. Now this is going to be going downhill shortly, but at least you get an idea of what it sounds like and the shifting of the gears and all that stuff. So we get a little bit of it spun a wheel a little bit. Driving normally and not flooring it, the RPM range is in a more normal area, and that's what the engine is designed for. So when you like blow past it and go in the extreme RPMs, 5,000-6,000 RPMs, then you get a little bit of diminishing returns, right? So it feels actually more impressive when you have it in the lower RPMs, like say 5,000 or 6,000, or no, 4,000 or 5,000 at the most, right? So in that range, the more normal driving range, it feels more strong, and it feels like you have a lot of acceleration right when you need it. But when you really floor it like that, then of course it's not going to be as impressive, because you're basically just going past what the vehicle is designed for, especially in sport mode. So here's a more normal acceleration. In normal drive mode. So yeah, I like that normal drive mode in most cases better. And as far as accelerating, just from flat out acceleration in sport mode, I don't really care for the way the transmission handles the power. There's no reason for this amount of power to be spinning tires like that. It was basically not handling it right, not handling the acceleration right. That's why we have a little bit of a wheel slippage. So yeah, I mean, unless I'm just kind of like, I need that little bit more responsive pedal zipping through traffic, I think I like the normal drive mode a lot better. The lane keep assist system handles the roads well. Even the back roads, highways, it works really good on highways. That's where it really excels, but it tends to not fight with you as you're driving. And that's a big deal, because some vehicles, the lane keep assist system is just constantly tugging on your hands while you're driving and trying to put you in different positions in the lane. And me and a lot of other people just turn it off, because, depending on the vehicle, right? If it's a problem, then you have to just turn it off, and then it's a feature you paid for that you're not using. So having one that actually works, and it is a hands-on system. You can see I don't have my hands on right now, because I'm just showing you how well it maintains the lane. And since this is a straight road, it can't really detect it if my hands are not on there. But yeah, you can see it works well. There's no like side to side motion. There's a lot of the vehicles, like on a straight road like this, it's constantly tugging left and right, going all over the place. And that's what I'm experience when I'm driving, is just constant bugging you and tugging you, and and it basically, some vehicles have, basically it tugs back and forth so much to where it will push you over the line and then beep at you, telling you went over the line. And it's like, and then you let go of the steering wheel, and then it goes back in the center. But as soon as you put your hands on it, then it's like going back and forth and tugging on your hands. I think what it is that it has a torque sensor, and the torque sensor is trying to see if you're touching the steering wheel. And so it has to constantly move to see if your hands are touching it. And that's the only thing I can think of. I prefer a grip sensor. Like, you just hold the steering wheel and it knows your hand's there, and it doesn't have to rely on any kind of torque or anything like that. So yeah, this is telling me to put my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm putting it on there so it doesn't have a grip sensor. So I just gently move the steering wheel, and then it detected it. So apparently this one doesn't have the grip sensor, but it does have a very, very sensitive torque sensor. So I didn't have to do much motion for it to detect my hands there.